Hello, this is Lauren Nacy here to discuss the assignment for Challenge the Process of the Leadership Challenge. So I will just begin by providing a brief context about my workplace. I will be using Oakland University's athletic department as my workplace since I am currently on leave from teaching, so it seemed more relevant to use my internship work as it relates to the sports industry. So more specifically, I'll be looking at the compliance office within the athletic department. I'm interning there and working alongside the associate athletic director for compliance. We had a compliance coordinator, but he transferred to another department on campus, and we're currently taking interviews on a replacement. So for now, it's just myself and the associate AD. So that's my workplace context. Continuing on, looking at the specific issue that I'm addressing, I will note that since the video, the helpful video from Kelsey was posted at the end of the assignment, I had completed the entire set of questions and the whole assignment before I had decided to watch Kelsey's video from Wayne State Compliance. So we actually have the same challenge. I apologize for that. However, at OU, we would not have to create a whole new system like ACS, just post the forms publicly to our existing campus compliance website. So before I really delve into things, I apologize for kind of duplicating her challenge, but I feel like it's the most relevant process to challenge within my internship. So I'm going to keep it that way because it was meaningful to me. So providing a context for that specific issue that I'm addressing, the specific issue I hope to address or challenge is the way we house our general compliance forms for staff and coaches. Currently, there are only hard copies present, just like there was at Wayne State, in filing cabinets actually that the staff and coaches can access. They have to visit the filing cabinet to take the form that they need, and there are many forms that they need to utilize on a weekly to monthly basis. For example, unofficial and official visits, packets, travel itineraries, phone call logs, evaluation logs, CARA logs, athletic contest contracts, and the list could go on and on. So submission of these forms also, I guess this is a two-part to the challenge, is that the submission of these forms can either be electronic or in the hard copy form, depending on what the coach chooses or the staff member chooses. So it can be kind of difficult to have multiple ways of submitting forms as well. So these processes continue because it's the way that it has always been done. So it must be challenged. Looking at an alternate course of action for this, or perhaps a solution to this challenge, I'm suggesting that we place all of the necessary forms as new, clean copies on our OU compliance website. So we already have an established website. It's actually provided by the actual university, so it's even outside of the athletic department. So they're at the website, the coaches and staff could access any form that they wish without having to visit the compliance office. They could type in information directly into the forms and then email the forms directly to the compliance office when they're ready to submit. So it would create an electronic paper trail as well and avoid us having to scan in hard copies and completed forms to then store later as electronic files. So most other athletic compliance offices have all of their forms publicly online for staff, administration, coach access, NCAA access, so it seems to be an easier solution. I've actually sat in a couple coaches meetings where the very same suggestion has been brought up, so it seems like something that the staff would be on board with. But I'll discuss that more in a few moments. So it would certainly make compliance processes more streamlined for everyone involved. So suggesting a realistic timeline for this change. So if we're looking at it being this year, we're already in the second semester, second half of the academic year. So a realistic timeline for the change would be to switch everyone over by the beginning of next academic term, meaning fall of 2016. So this would allow compliance to roll out the new procedures and forms and get them located in the right spots over the summer. This would also allow time for having meetings or education tutorials with staff and coaches before the launch and to answer any questions that they may have before the switch. And so a way to measure the success or the impacts of this change in the way that we process paperwork would be to measure or look at, I guess, an implementation survey, so before and after, to gauge with staff and coaches if they prefer this system or what suggestions they might have. Additionally, the majority of NCAA rules violations occurs in this day-to-day compliance procedural type paperwork. So studying the change in the amount of self-reported violations for these procedures would be an effective measure of success. So continuing on within that solution, we were asked to indicate other impacts. So looking at the impact on organizational culture and workplace norms. Obviously, since the norm has been to use hard copy forms only, there will be a large impact on this area. We will have to educate the staff on the benefits of the switch, although many of them seem like they would prefer this, and make them feel comfortable with using this new system. A cultural shift would obviously have to occur in the way that this has all always been done, so it's creating a culture of flexibility. I think that is key, to know that there are other ways of doing things that might make things even better and easier for everyone. External factors, I wasn't quite sure on this one. I guess because we're working in-house with athletics coaches and staff, that there wouldn't really be many impacts as far as external factors. A few of the forms may have to stay hard copy if we are looking into some of the financial aid forms and admissions forms and even transfer request forms that are going through transfer admissions. So we have to look at how admissions and financial aid and sometimes maybe even the registrar's office would like to handle that paperwork. So we may not be able to change that entire process, so that could be an external factor that we would have to look at, obviously. Employees that are involved in this change, all the coaching staff and some of the other staff members. There'd be few administrators, as they don't have to utilize the forms quite as often as those other staff and coaches do. And certainly the compliance office would be included in that, including myself, the associate AD, and a new coming compliance coordinator. As far as constituents and stakeholders, I kind of addressed those already with looking at the different other departments on campus that we work with, like admissions, financial aid, and so on, and then obviously stakeholders within the athletic department being employees. So that pretty much wraps it up. Well, it seems to have gone on longer than I had anticipated. So thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed how I would challenge the process.